So I know it's a loaded question, but I guess how much of it would you recommend people to get in an energy of receiving and downloading wisdom to make their life work? Because like I feel like it's probably not the type of thing that's disconnected from you doing well in one area of business or another, from also the mastery of what you eat and who you are and what you put in your mind. Does that make sense? Like, how much of it is energy, and on a practical level, how can people apply that to start making their life work? Very loaded question, but I wanted to inform it because I know there's people out there that have logical questions about one part of it, but I feel like you have an answer for you that informs so many parts of it.
Yes. Two things. One, how you do the small things is how you do the big things. Because the small things, just like the big things, showcase your character. They showcase your nature. They showcase who you are. Not who you are in front of others, who you are by yourself, in private, when the doors are closed. So having an understanding of how to improve that individual is important. Most people settle for average.
Mm-hmm.
They settle for bad decisions. They settle for self-sabotage. And a lot of it comes from, which is the second part, not listening to God.
Mm-hmm.
God is the answer to everything. He's the answer to a successful marriage, a successful business, a healthy body, a healthy mind. God is the answer to everything. When was the last time you asked God for financial advice? I know that sounds crazy to many people. When was the last time you asked God for advice in your marriage? Yeah, you ask God to heal certain parts of your life, but not everything. You ask him for advice in certain things, but you neglect them in other things. I want to listen to God.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the guiding principle that allows you to live in flow, because you live in a state of obedience. At least I try to.
Mm-hmm.
Not perfect, very far from it. But if you understand your nature and then you ask God to bless you, ask God to guide you,
Mm-hmm.
he will. Why would you fight the creator of the universe?
So you don't get stuck. You feel like your connection with God keeps answers flowing to you.
When I get stuck, it's because I'm usually doing something wrong.
And so you just fix that behavior and you get unstuck.
I ask God to show me what I need to fix, which is the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And if you obey the truth, your life improves. If you disobey the truth that God tells you, you will continue to suffer, because God is telling you the truth so that you can live a blessed life, not for you to live in suffering, because he loves you. And the objective is for you to live a good life. And a good life is based on his design, not on your design, not on how you want to live. There's rules to the game. You have to follow the rules of the game. And if you follow the rules of the game, you live a good life. If you don't follow the rules of the game, then the game plays against you. And that's why most people feel like they're not advancing in life, because they're not following God. They're following their own wisdom, their own desires, their own thoughts, their own ambitions. They've never even considered God in their life. Yet God is the one that's given them everything. And unless you give God everything and are willing to lay everything down to follow him, to love him, to work for him, then he's not going to bless you. And that's a promise.
To that point, I heard something beautiful. It said, see what God sees. So much of the time we're so focused on our agenda and what we want and what we think and what we think ought be the case. We forget to see what God sees. And in the grander picture, it recontextualizes to be like, holy shit, maybe that needed to happen for XYZ reason, or maybe that needed to happen for me to, have clarity in this area or whatever. Yeah.
And the question is, what does God see?
Mm-hmm.
God sees us and he loves us.
Mm-hmm.
So he tells us the truth. And we are supposed to act and do unto others as God has done unto us. So if God has loved us and God has forgiven us and God has shown us the truth, we do the same to others.
Mm-hmm.
That's what God sees. God sees us and he sees shortcomings. He sees failed humans. He sees sin nature. But then on top of all of that, he sees Jesus.
So for you, it's all about heaven. This is game you're just playing for sport.
This is the Matrix, bro.
Yeah.
That's why we're glitches in the Matrix.
What are the things you actually struggle with? Because a lot of people see you give advice and have answers. What are the things that you find yourself kind of present day struggling with, dealing with, wrestling with?
There's a couple things. The first thing is training people. Patience is the ultimate trait of a leader. Your ability to sit down with your people and take your time to explain the mission that you're trying to accomplish. Most leaders, most CEOs, most business owners, they don't take the time because you're busy. You want people to solve your problems. But one of my biggest hurdles in business has been to sit down with my people and to train them the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Abraham Lincoln famously said that if I had 6 hours to chop down a tree, I would spend the first 5 sharpening the axe. So many companies have a terrible onboarding system to new hires. They don't train their people. They don't invest in their people. They don't care about them. So once I realized that that was negative, what I had to do was begin to create incentives for people to thrive outside of me having to police them. And this comes from creating a vision map for how people can grow and scale inside of the organization. Something to look forward to. That's the first thing. The second thing is consistency. As a person that's dynamic, as a person that likes to create, the ability to hold onto one dream, one vision, one thought for an extended period of time becomes challenging. There's different types of entrepreneurs. There's entrepreneurs that thrive at launching companies, other entrepreneurs that are good at operating companies or scaling companies, exiting companies. Different people have different skills. I'm really good at launches. I'm really good at hype. I'm really good at marketing. I'm really good at build up. But you need operators to sustain the business long term, the day-to-day operations. Correct. But you can't do it out of a place that is not natural to you. So I was doing a lot of the operations in my company for a lot of 2023. 2024, I realized that I need to bring operators and people that maybe didn't do things like I wanted. They didn't do things as good as I wanted. Not as good as me, as good as I wanted. But they were good enough and I could trust them. And understanding that I just had to ship product.
Yeah, that's hard, especially when you're a quality controller.
For sure.
Because I interviewed John Paul DeJoria from Patron Tequila and Paul Mitchell Shampoo and Conditioner. This guy runs not one, but 2 multi-billion-dollar companies. I asked him, what's the biggest challenge? And he goes, Omar, the hardest thing is people. He goes, think about Walmart, right? Like they built this huge multi-billion-dollar company. And most of the employees there, not a lot of barriers to entry. You know what I mean? And so it's like, how do you build something massive that the average person can fulfill on? Because if it's so dependent on every person being at your level of quality or standard, you're going to lose your mind quality controlling, jump off a cliff. For sure. Especially when you're as attention to detail as yourself. So letting go of that control, that's kind of what you mean?
Yeah, letting go of the control and allowing other people to do their job. And
What if that compromises the quality of the product at launch?
You made a wrong hire.
But that won't stop you from launching.
Well, it depends. Is the mistake a $300,000 mistake, or is it a mistake that isn't as big as the salary that they're getting? It's all the opportunity cost. You know, I had an HR, but not an HR. I had a finance girl send $20,000 to a wrong crypto address, but she does a lot of great work throughout the year. So what, do I just terminate her because of 20 grand? But the ROI of her labor, the ROI of her efforts, and the trust that we have that she can move money, whatever, is bigger than the 20K.
Plus the accountability.
And it's the trust.
Future, yeah.
It's the trust. So you build into that trust and you understand that people can learn skills. People can get better. People can't learn how to be good people. Yeah. People can't learn how to be faithful and loyal. You find that and then you train the rest. And then you're patient because people are still learning.
So you hire for character.
Yes, first. Why would I hire for anything else if business is like war, or if it's resembled like war? Oftentimes people read The Art of War by Sun Tzu, and a lot of these principles translate into business. Why would I have somebody that when shit gets tough, when the enemy is at the door, they just turn around and run? Or let alone, even worse, go and work or fight for the enemy? I've had that. I've had partners go and partner with the enemy. I've had employees go and work for competitors. Why? my inability to find people that were aligned to my mission, vision, and values. So integrity, loyalty is the key. And then from there, you can train everything else.
Have you had any like major betrayals that like forced you to like level up or be even tighter on security, or
For sure.
how you evaluate human interaction?
Yeah, for sure. Security threats, definitely.
Yeah.
Bad business partners.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all of it, bro. The natural of being a video game character.
Dude.
Playing the game.
Okay, so when you talk about that, you talk about this concept called the law of gravitas. Can you talk about that for the audience who's never heard about the law of gravitas and being the video game character of self-mastery that you're now living in?
So the law of gravitas dictates that a bigger form of mass or a bigger form of energy will bring into its orbit or attract into its orbit, into its gravitational pull, smaller forms of energy, smaller forms of mass. That's why I like to concentrate the energy. I like to bring entrepreneurs together, employees together, because what can be accomplished, in a very short period of time by yourself can be done in milliseconds with a group of people. What can take you as an individual years, when you concentrate the energy, right? You attract things unto yourself. So a lot of people working together, they have the ability to generate and attract unto themselves $1 billion business or opportunity, more so than somebody by themselves doing it. So the law of gravitas is about concentrating the energy, bringing people together, associating towards a specific common goal or purpose, and attracting those things that naturally gravitate towards that concentration of energy. It's a pretty cool concept.
Dude, it's amazing. And not only that, you're only 29?
Yes.
So you've done quite a bit in your 20s. My last question for you here is, as you look into the future of, what you want to do in life and business with NFT and crypto, maybe you'll have a bonus question about NFT and crypto I have to ask.
Let's do it.
But when Luke Belmar is dead gone, nothing but a pile of dust, what do you hope your body of work and business leaves behind?
Just that people that I've interacted with had a good interaction.
Mm-hmm.
That I was a positive influence to them, not a negative one. And that I was a beacon for people finding truth and not lies. So that's good enough. I don't care to be remembered. I don't care to have my name on any billboards or signs, or none of those things matter. The greatest innovations of our time, most people don't remember who made them. Julius Caesar, one of the greatest emperors of Rome, his name's been relegated to a salad. So, name, status, legacy don't really mean much for me. To me, it's about here right now with you, having a good conversation, leveling up, and being able to replicate that in the present moment with every person that I interact with.
Perfect. And then final bonus question, what's your NFT meme coin predictions for 2025?
Pudgy Penguins NFT continues to become and remain the number one NFT Web3 project in the world. It's a multi-billion-dollar market cap. It's phenomenal. And Bitcoin going to $150,000 to $175,000 2025. Bull runs back. Stay tuned.
Take care, guys. Till next time, live strong, live with passion, and go make those dreams a reality. Thanks so much, Luke. Appreciate it.
Good podcast, my friend. It's been a phenomenal time.
I appreciate you, Luke. Thanks so much for being on, brother. I know you went all over the place, but glad to make it happen.
Hashtag undeniable in the comment section if you want to become an undeniable person, that when somebody looks at you, that they can see that you are who you say you are. It's the best way to live.
My man. And where can people find you if they want to connect with you more?
At Luke Belmar on all social media platforms, or interact with one of my videos, and then you'll be stuck in the algo forever.